Oh, are you seeing the screen?
No, Prabhu.
No, huh? Okay. Just give me 1 minute. I don't want that. I want a speaker view. Okay. Let me know if you are seeing. Okay.
Yeah, you can see now.
Okay, thank you. So word by word meaning. Bruhi, please tell. This word has been used so many times in this chapter. Yogeshwara, Yogeshwara, the Lord of all mystic powers. Krishna, the Lord Krishna. Brahmane, the absolute truth. Dharma, religion. Varmani, protector. Shram, on. Kastham, abode. Adhuna, nowadays. Upate, having gone away. Dharmaha, religion. Come, unto whom? Sharnam, shelter. Gataha, gone. Translation. Since, so this is basically the series of Naimisharanya asking the question with Sutta Goswami. Since Sri Krishna, the absolute truth, the master of all mystic power, had departed for his own abode, please tell us to whom the religious principle have now gone for shelter. Very wonderful question, very powerful question. So we read the purport by His Divine Grace Shri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Essentially, religion is the prescribed course initiated by the personality of Godhead Himself. Whenever there is a gross misuse or neglect of the principles of religion, the Supreme Lord appears Himself to restore religious principles. This is stated in Bhagavad Gita. Here, the sages of Naimisharanya are inquiring about these principles. The reply to this question is given later. The Srimad Bhagavatam is the transcendental sound representation of the personality of Godhead, and thus it is the full representation of transcendental knowledge and religious principles. Thus, in the Bhakti Vedanta purport of the first canto, first chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Questions by the Sages. Thank you. So before we get into the discussion, kindly let me share my screen so that I don't miss that part. And somebody has to confirm if you can see the screen.
Yes, Prabhu, you can see.
Okay, thank you. So we'll have the pranam mantras and then we'll get into the discussion. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshur Unmitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guru Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langate Girim Yatkirpa Tadam Bhande Shri Gurum Dinatarinim Brahmananda Madhvam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanto Swami Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarine Vanchikalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evasya Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gauru Bhakta Vinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we are finishing chapter 1, and the last verse that we read is answer of all of our questions. All of our questions. So we'll get into detail of that. The title of this presentation is Shelter of Religious Principles. So we just finished the recitation of the verse, and then we'll get into the discussion. So the purport of this verse is not very big. It was very small purport, but it's very powerful there. So the first paragraph has, in fact, it's only one paragraph. First sentence, Prabhupada is saying that essential religion is the prescribed course enunciated by the personality of Godhead himself. So do you know, Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavata paranati, So what is dharma? What is dharma? Dharma is one that is established, that's given to us by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's exactly the translation is given there. That essentially religion is a prescribed course enunciated by the Personality of Godhead himself. Then, whenever there is gross misuse or neglect of the principle of religion, the Supreme Lord appears himself to restore religious principle. That's another verse. Yada yadahi dharmasya glani bhavati bharata, the translation of that verse. So dharma is basically established by Krishna, and it's protected by Krishna also. So sometimes, we as a conditioned soul get very disturbed looking at the things around. What will happen? What will happen? What will happen? But in the purport, Prabhupada is giving us the direction here that the dharma is established by Lord himself, and it's also protected by Lord himself. Srimad Bhagavatam is the transcendental sound representation of the personality of Godhead. And then Srimad Bhagavatam is nothing but its sound representation of the Supreme Personality of the Godhead. So, Swayam sound incarnation of Supreme Lord is Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is basically spoken by Lord Sri Hari, Lord Sri Krishna. So Bhagavad Gita is basically the sound incarnation, this direct sound of the Supreme Lord, and then representative of the sound representative of Lord, because he appeared as Vyasadeva to give us Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the transcendental sound representation of the personality of Godhead. And the last point, it is the full representation of the transcendental knowledge and religious principle. So sages are asking where dharma is going to take shelter, and in the purport it's been said that Srimad Bhagavatam is the full representation of the transcendental knowledge and religious principle. So I would like to just summarize the purport, and then we'll have some introductory statement discussions, and then we'll see how Krishna is seen in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam, and then in the Bhagavatam, the line of discipleship system. So we'll basically see what are those lines of succession, and then what are the subject matter. Bhagavatam has 10 principal subject matter. So we'll discuss about those, and then finally we'll wrap up with the qualification of the hearer and speaker. So in this chapter, sages are asking 6 questions to Suta Goswami. The first one, they ask, what is the ultimate good for human being? Second one, they ask, what is the essence of all scripture? So when we were talking about essence of all scripture, in that particular verse, which was verse number 11, I also had a discussion about Srimad Bhagavatam, because essence of all scripture is bhakti, and where bhakti is mentioned, Bhagavatam, in Bhagavad Gita, in Bhagavatam. So we had, in-depth discussion about Srimad Bhagavatam. And then the question 6, the answer of question 6 is also in Srimad Bhagavatam. So they are asking, where is the shelter for the religious principle when Krishna is gone? Krishna is no longer with us. So where dharma is going to take the shelter? And answer of that question is Srimad Bhagavatam, which is answered in 3rd chapter, verse number 43. So again, there we will have discussion, similar type of discussion. And question 3 and question 4 is basically about the Purusha incarnations and different, like, Lord coming as son of Vasudeva and Devaki, then himself coming as Purusha avatar, and then his Lila avatar. So 3, 4, and 5, these 3 questions are mostly about Lord's incarnations. So last one is basically the question that is very helpful for us, because quite a few times, we see where Krishna is gone, where is Krishna, why things are happening like that, and we just read, and it's all matter of, basically how people are seeing things, because in reality, if you see that, do we have people who are really doing the Shuddha Bhakti? The answer for that question will be very difficult. How we can see, because we see today in a society that even big people who we are pursuing as a saintly person, they are also not using dharma for the benefit of the human society as a whole. Rather, they are being hypocritic, and they are using dharma to fulfill their other motivations, to fulfill their other desire. So that question will come that, okay, so here is basically place where dharma has taken shelter. But why in the society we are not able to see things in a organized manner? And the answer of that is that that most of the time, or most of the people, doesn't matter what dharma they practice, what type of belief they have, they are not really taking the practices in a pure form. Rather, it is mixed up with so many other desire. And that's what happens, if the form of the bhakti is not pure, then that person is not going to be in pure consciousness, and his action is not going to be in the pure consciousness. And what that does basically a lot of confusion. That creates a lot of confusion for other people, the people who are going to follow it. That is why as a aspiring devotee, the first and foremost important thing is that developing our faith in the instructions of our acharyas, having faith in the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when we talk about the faith, we are talking not about just having closed eyes and having just say I believe in Krishna. Rather, the real faith means trying to develop our faith with the statements, the instructions that Krishna has given to us. And if that's how we develop our faith, then we can see the presence of Krishna. So some of the citation that I have here in the next verse, next slide, is going to show how basically Krishna can be seen in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. And some of the purport I'm citing here. So the first one says, one can certainly see directly the presence of Lord Sri Krishna in the pages of Bhagavatam, if one has heard it from a self-realized great soul like Sukadeva Goswami. So one can see direct presence of the Lord Sri Krishna in the pages of Bhagavatam. That's a very powerful statement. If one has heard it from a realized great soul such as Sukadeva Goswami. So our association, whom we associate, is very, very critical to understand Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavad Gita is the sound incarnation of Lord, because it is spoken by the Supreme Lord, and Srimad Bhagavatam is the sound representative of the Lord because it was spoken by the incarnation of the Lord about the activities of the Lord. So this is mentioned in purport 218. The only qualification, this is basically in the preface of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada is writing, the only qualification one needs to study this great book of transcendental knowledge is to proceed step by step cautiously and not jump forward haphazardly as with an ordinary book. It should be gone through chapter by chapter, one after another. The reading matter is so arranged with the original Sanskrit text. Its English transliteration, synonyms, translation, and purports so that one is pure to become a God-realized soul at the end of finishing the first 9 cantos. So beautiful. Only one qualification, is basically Prabhupada asking us that qualification is that we must study Srimad Bhagavatam step-wise step very carefully, not basically jumping here and there. And also the second point that is mentioned here is that under the instruction, under the association of a bona fide devotee, such as Sukadeva Goswami and his lineage. If these two things are fulfilled, then one will perceive Krishna in pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. And also, one will understand that Srimad Bhagavatam is none different than Krishna himself. So I think these are very powerful statements that Prabhupada is writing throughout the Bhagavad Gita to just give us, just to develop our faith with Srimad Bhagavatam. So here is very beautiful verse, very, very beautiful verse that I'm going to cite that basically confirms that Srimad Bhagavatam is none different than Krishna himself. Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna himself. And this is goes like that. Tamadi devam karunanidhanam tamal varnam suhitavataram apar samsara samudra setum bhajamahe bhagavata swarupam. Tamadi devam karunanidhanam. Karunanidhanam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is ocean of mercy. Ocean of mercy. Tamal varnam suhita avataram. His appearance is like, his color is like a tamal tree. Apar samsar samudra setum. That's very important point for us to know. This material world, this samsara, is like samudra. Samudra means ocean or sea. So apar means the one that has no par, the one that has no end. So this material world where we are caught into, the samsara, cycle of samsara, is like a ocean that does not have any end. Bhaja mahe bhagavat swarupam. So apar samsara samudra setum. But on that ocean, Srimad Bhagavatam has appeared as a bridge, which is none different than Bhagavat Swarupam. It's none different than Lord himself. So this is a very beautiful verse that confirms that this Bhagavatam has appeared for the age of Kali to help conditioned soul to come out of the cycle of samsara. And how to come out of the cycle of samsara? It's acting as a bridge on the ocean which has no end. So conditioned soul can use that bridge to cross over that nations, that apar ocean. And that bridge is nothing, that Srimad Bhagavatam is nothing but Sharupa, Bhagavatam Sharupam. Krishna has personally incarnated as Bhagavatam. So hope by reading this verse gives us the faith that when we approach Srimad Bhagavatam, we should be approaching like we are approaching the deity, or we are approaching the holy name. It's not different than deity or holy name of Krishna, because it clearly says here, it's just Krishna who has incarnated to save and to protect the conditioned soul of the Kali Yuga. So Bhagavatam has 10 subjects. And I think last night Bhopal Prabhu read that. So how many subjects is in the Bhagavad Gita? Anybody would like to share how many subjects we have in the Bhagavad Gita?
So 5 subjects.
We have 5 subjects in Bhagavad Gita. Yes, we have 5 subjects in Bhagavad Gita. And those are basically about Supreme Lord, who is Bhagwan, who we are as a soul. So Lord, God, and then, Jiva, and then nature, Prakriti, then time, and then karma. So these are the 5 subjects being spoken in Bhagavad Gita: who the Supreme Lord is, who the conditioned soul, living beings are, what's the nature, time, and karma. Srimad Bhagavatam has 10 subjects. And I wanted to introduce that in the very beginning here, right here, because we have so many cantos and chapters to read. So these are the basically 10 subject matter that's been discussed throughout the Bhagavad Gita. And the verse starts with Atra Sargo Visargasha Asthanam Poshanam Utayaha Manvantra Ishanu Katha Nirodha Mukti Rasraya Sharga. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the primeval, Janmadhyasya is the super creator, Visharga, and then there are indirect secondary creation, such as Lord Brahma, a sthanam, positioning of the living entity on the various planetary systems. Like we are right now positioned on the earthly planet. Likewise, there are other living beings who are positioned on other, planetary system, and that is described, in detail in Canto 5. Poshnam is very, very powerful subject. Basically, how Lord gives the protection to his devotee. So throughout the Bhagavatam, Poshnam is mentioned, such as how Lord came as Lord Nrsimhadev to protect Prahlad Maharaj, and Utti is inclination of doing some actions. There is some prarabdha karma. All of us have some specific, desires, some specific ways of doing the things. So what is the root cause? From where our inclination comes towards some activities. And then manvantras, all the rhymes of manus. There are 14 manus in one day of Brahma. So those manus are mentioned. And then Ishanu Katha, the incarnations, the topics of various incarnations of Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then Nirodha, annihilation, dissolution of the planetary system. The material world has, Krishna is saying that this is temporary and this is Dukhalayam. So one day it has to be annihilated. So that dissolution subject is also mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. And then liberation, mukti is also mentioned. And the most beautiful subject for us is asraya, how to take the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So all of these subjects are mentioned ultimately to show the greatness, or to establish the greatness of Supreme Personality of Godhead, so that we can take his asraya. So these are the 10 subjects, and I think as a reader of Srimad Bhagavatam, we should know that what are the topics that Srimad Bhagavatam has spoken on, and these are the 10 topics: Sarga, Visarga, Sthanam, Poshnam, Uti, Manvantra, Isanu Katha, Nirodha, Mukti, and Asraya. So we'll see how those are basically throughout the canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam has 12 canto. The first and second canto is lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. Third and fourth are thighs. Fifth canto is navel. Sixth is chest. Seven is arms. Eight is arms. So both arms. 7 and 8 are, like arms of Supreme Personality of Godhead. 9 is throat. 10 is lotus feet. 11 is forehead, and 12 is head. And then each cantos have some subject matter that they deal with. So according to Srila Jiva Goswami, in fact, all of the cantos have blends of multiple subjects. But what I'm sharing here is basically which part is dominant. So for example, if we look at Canto 1 and Canto 2, it has subject of bhakti. It has subject about Lord's incarnation, such as, chapter 3. And it has the discussion about Srimad Bhagavatam, Narad Muni coming and giving instructions to Vyasadeva. So all these subjects, many subjects are there. There is subject, there are discussion about Sharga, there are discussions about Visarga, and some other, Ashraya also, because Kunti Maharani is talking about Ashraya, how one can take the shelter of Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's basically mentioned there. There is some element of Poshnam also, because Sukadeva Goswami is coming to help Parikshit Maharaj. So there are multiple topics in each canto, but one or two topic is predominant. So that's what this slide is showing. Don't be confused that when I say that, in canto 5, there is a sthanam, means descriptions of the various planetary system. That doesn't mean that it has no other component. There are some other component too, but asthanam is basically dominant. So first two cantos, canto 1 and 2, is basically prelude. It's basically introduction of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And then canto 3rd and 4th are talking about Sarga and Visarga. Canto 5th talks about asthanam, different planetary system, and we'll go into the details. And I'm sure all of you know that Canto 5 is filled with that kind of information. And then 6 is basically Poshnam, how Lord protects his devotee. And some of the examples are given there by how Ajamila was protected just by chanting the name of Krishna once. And then Canto 7 has Utti. Canto 8 has different, manus and their activities. And then 9 is related to Lord's devotee and his incarnations also, such as, Lord Rama. Lord Rama's incarnations are basically mentioned there. And then 10 is nothing but Ashraya. And in that canto, we hear all the activities and pastime of Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then 11 is Mukti and 12 is Nirodha, how Supreme Personality of Godhead at the end of Kali Yuga is going to annihilate everything. So many times we hear, and we just heard, just 2 slides back, or maybe 1 slide back, that the only one qualification one need to understand Srimad Bhagavatam is that one should study the Bhagavatam in a systematic way. So if you look at this chart will help you understand why we have to study Srimad Bhagavatam in a systematic way, because Canto 10 is the goal of our life. The goal of our life is that we take deeper shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But that shelter is not very normal, or it's not very, I would say that inherent nature of living being, because as a conditioned soul, or as a smart, intelligent human being, so-called, we will have multiple questions and multiple doubt. So what other canto does is that it basically establishes the foundation. It gives us the understanding that how Krishna is protecting his devotee, how Krishna is the cause of all the causes, how Krishna comes, in various incarnations to basically take care of the dharma, how he creates, how he inspired Lord Brahma to do the creation. All of that descriptions comes in the previous cantos of the Bhagavatam. And once we have all of that knowledge, and once we have overheard, or if we have sufficiently heard, not overheard, sufficiently heard about glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then Canto 10 comes. And there we hear passing of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when we hear that how Krishna can kill Putana, will make more sense to us. And then how each and every chapter of Canto 10 will inspire us to take the shelter of this Supreme Person. The original personality of Godhead is nobody but this cowherd, boy who is walking in the forest of Vrindavan. That person is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's very huge, expectation for conditioned living being to believe that this person who is walking in the forest of Vrindavan as a cowherd boy is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. But to bring us to that stage where we can accept it, we have to basically go through the other cantos and study the other descriptions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's one reason. That is why Prabhupada is recommending us that don't just go and start reading about Ras Leela and how Krishna basically lifted Govardhan Hill. But you may not believe. You may not have that faith that with one finger Krishna can do that. So let's go through this and have sufficient understanding about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so that once you come to there, then each and every word, when you read it, you can see that yes, this is the same person, Supreme Personality of Godhead, who did this, who did this, who did this, who did that, and now he is doing that. So that's why it's recommended that we read Srimad Bhagavatam in a systematic way. So in Bhagavatam, there are multiple disciplic succession, and this is a very beautiful chart, chart that I put my time to create. So there are multiple disciplic succession. You will see that Brahma, so the original, so whoever is talking in Srimad Bhagavatam, they are basically talking, or they are representative of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So although we see various line of disciplic succession, various setup for Bhagavatam discussions, but in reality, the real speaker is Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Hari. So just take some of the example. Lord Sri Krishna spoke to Brahma. Brahma spoke to Narad. Narad to Vyasdev. Vyasdev to Sukdev Goswami. And then Sukdev Goswami is talking to Parikshit Maharaj. Sukdev Goswami also talked to Sutta Goswami. And Sutta Goswami is now explaining that the sages of Naimisharanya. So most of the time, or most of the kind of subject that we'll be hearing and discussing is Sukdev Goswami talking to Parikshit Maharaj. Right now, we are talking about Sutta Goswami, who is talking to sages of Naimisharanya. Later on, we will have Maitreya Muni coming to and talking to Vidura. But at the same time, if you really watch carefully, you will see that there are other discussions too, such as Narad Muni, very prominently throughout the Srimad Bhagavatam, has spoken with so many exalted devotees, such as talking to Dhruva, Prachetas, Priyavart Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Yudhishthira, and Vasudeva. So that's another, line of disciplic succession where Narad Muni is talking to the personalities. Kapila, who is none different than Krishna himself, talking to his mother Devavati. So that's one succession. Sankarshan, talking to Lord Shiva and Sanat Kumars, and then Lord Shiva talking to Prachetas, we will hear, in Canto 4. Sanat Kumar talking to Sankhya Muni and Prithu Maharaj, and then Sankhya Muni talking to Prashar Muni and Brihaspati, then Prashar Muni talking to Maitreya talking to Vidura. So all of this basically comes throughout the Srimad Bhagavatam. Rishabdeva Maharaj talking to Nau Jogendra, that comes in chapter 11, also, Canto 11 also. And then talking to Bharat Maharaj. And Bharat Maharaj talking to Jar Bharat. And then in Canto 11, which is also called as Uddhav Gita, in that, not the whole canto is not called the Uddhav Gita, but from chapter 3 to 29, I believe, the whole chapters, those 23 chapters are discussion between Lord and Uddhava. Uddhava is asking, questions very similar what Arjuna has asked in Bhagavad Gita. That, my dear Lord, now you are planning to depart from this material world. So what will happen? What is this? What is that? What is that? And he has also asked so many questions. That's very, very useful for us. So there also, Krishna is personally talking to Uddhava, and then Uddhava is talking with the sages of Badrika Ashram. So you can see, and I think, this is a very good summary. If you can take picture of that, or if you want, I can send that slide. These are the basically, personalities who are talking the subject of Srimad Bhagavatam. So the 10 subject that we just, gone through. So some of those subjects are being discussed by this personality here, and these are the basically talks, or these are the line of, disciplic succession that's taking place in Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, moving to the next slide. It's 746. So what are the qualities of a good speaker? I think it's very important for us to look at, I'm also, right now talking, and you can see I do not possess any one of them. But, as a aspiring speaker, at some point we all are trying to be a preacher. What are the qualities that we should have, or we should try to cultivate? It says the first quality, that one should be devotee of the Lord. The speaker should be devotee of the Lord, and a speaker should be ideal hearer. He should be, hearing very carefully. He should have some experience about the Shastra. He should have compassion for the living being. An ideal preacher. He should have the quality of a good preacher, and he should appreciate if there is relevant inquiry. Sometimes, some of the questions comes and I may not have the answer, or I may not be qualified to answer that, but a good speaker appreciate that. And, if the question is relevant, it has to be a relevant question. And then a speaker must have faith in previous Acharya. That's very important. We are representing the line of disciplic succession. So we should have faith in the words and teaching of our previous Acharya. A good speaker should be encouraging. He should encourage the audience, and he should be a self-example. That's one of the quality of Acharya also. So an ideal speaker should be a good example, not just saying the word. Otherwise, his characters, his behavior should also match. Otherwise, people would not have really impact of what he's teaching. And see here another thing. He should study, he should share Srimad Bhagavatam systematic. Bhagavatam should be discussed. The speaker should discuss in a very systematic way. And he should be frank. He should, and I'm citing the verses also. He should have the knowledge about the Shastra. You can see none of those matches with me. He should be considerate the situation, and seeking empowerment and blessing from the Lord. A speaker, a ideal speaker, doesn't matter how qualified he is. He should be always seeking the blessing, because Srimad Bhagavatam is none different than Krishna, and the real speaker is Krishna also. So there are different means, there are different ways that it comes to us, but it's coming through Krishna. It's Krishna. So a speaker should know that it's not me, it's not my response. I'm not the speaker. The true speaker is basically Supreme Personality of Godhead, and if he empowers me, Mukam Karoti Vachalam, we start with that prayer, that even a lamb can cross the mountain if they have the lamb person has blessing of Supreme Personality of Godhead and Guru. So that should be the mood. The speaker should be always seeking that I'm insignificant, and if the Supreme Personality of Godhead and my Guru Maharaj will empower me, then I'll be able to share some of the deeper intricacy of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So these are the qualification of a ideal speaker. What are the qualifications of the person who are hearing? The person who are hearing should be respectful for the speaker, should have respect. Oh, I know, I mean, just time pass, I'll hear him, whatever he's talking, and then, no, we should have, that's the basically foundation of having a ideal discussion. The Krishna Katha will only take place when there is a respect between a speaker and hearer. So it doesn't matter, sometimes, and I have seen it, some of the sannyasis also, even if somebody, young, very new in a, in our organization, is talking or giving the lecture, if some sannyasi comes, they will just be there and listen very carefully. Whoever is on the Vyasasana, we have to put respect for that person. And of course, the hearer should be eager to hear the message of Srimad Bhagavatam. He should be inquisitive, and he should have faith in the speaker. He should have respect for the speaker, and he should have, and I'm citing all the verses there. It's all there in the Srimad Bhagavatam. He should have faith, and he should have respect for the speaker. He should be paying full attention what's being spoken, attention to the details. He should be chesty, nice, and compassion. So a speaker also have to be compassionate. A speaker have to be compassionate towards the audience and towards the whole living being. And hearer also have to be compassionate towards the speaker, because I'm talking here, I have some limitations. As a human being, I have some limitations. This body has some limitations, my intelligence has some limitations, my knowledge has some limitations, but my desire is that I want to present the glory of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So a speaker, so hearer have that compassion towards the speaker, and also the hearer has the compassion towards other living being. I'm going to hear the Katha of Srimad Bhagavatam, and then I'm going to take this Katha and give it to the whole world. Sages of Naimisharanya, that's what they are doing. The questions that they are asking for us. So that's their compassion. They are asking how the living being who are going to come into the material world in the Kali Yuga, how they are going to be benefited by this discussion. So that type of compassion. And then hearer always feel grateful. Thank you so much for your association. Thank you so much for giving me this, information. Having gratitude towards a speaker. And also hearer should be eager to know about past and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is so sweet. This is so beautiful. I'm so fortunate that I have got this opportunity to hear. I have got the opportunity to share. So feeling, eager about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and never get fatigued. And we see that in the example of Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj, the more he was hearing, the more, enlivening he was becoming, and the more he wanted to hear. He was fasting 7 days, no food, nothing, fully concentrated on the holy name, on the pastime of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He didn't get, fatigued. He was just in silent hearing. So that's how it should be. We should not be, we should not try to get tired or bored. And then a good hearer encourages the speaker also. Prabhu, thank you for, I hope, Prabhu, you continue. I like your lecture. When you talk, it makes more sense to us. Prabhu, here is the area where I think if you can a little bit focus more, it will be very nice for us. You talk too fast, can you talk too slowly? Those kind of things, giving some good feedback so that a speaker can improve. So these are the qualities of the ideal speaker and quality of the ideal hearer. I have this last slide here, and I'm going to basically summarize the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we have talked about that also in previous lecture when I was talking about verse 11. Here, I'm also going to give a quick summary of the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, verse number 2 says, Dharma Orjita Kaito, Supreme Srimad Bhagavatam rejects all the cheating religion and all the cheating propensity. It just begins with the pure devotion. So if one who is not aspire to come to the point of pure devotion, or a person whose motivation is not pure towards devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for that person, this Bhagavatam might not be the right Shastra, or might not appeal a right subject, because we'll see later that Bhagavatam is like Mohani Murti, So if demon will see in different way, and if demigods will see, they will see a different way. So depending on how is our degree of surrender, based upon that, Bhagavatam will reveal to us. It's Nigam Kalptaru, it's basically ripened, tasty fruit of the Vedic knowledge. So it's like matured, ripened fruit of the Vedic knowledge. It's a sense of the Vedic knowledge. So there are Upanishad, there are Purana, and we talked about that. We went over that chart where we saw how many darshan are there and philosophies are there, Nyaya, this and that, and Upanishad, Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavatam especially is basically ripened fruit of the Vedic knowledge. It's cream of all the scriptures. Srimad Bhagavatam, it's literally incarnations of Krishna. The pages of Srimad Bhagavatam is none different than Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is as brilliant as the sun and shelter of the dharma. And that's basically answer of this specific question, which is going to come in 3rd chapter, verse number 43. That what is the shelter of the religious principle? The religious principle has taken shelter in Kali Yuga in Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's as brilliant as the sun and it's shelter of the dharma. Here is the point. It's to retain, especially for the common people. And we had one slide last week also, that how the message of Krishna consciousness has been simplified for the conditioned soul of the Kali Yuga. So Srimad Bhagavatam is written especially for the common people. It talks and expands the glories of the Supreme Personality of Lordhead. It's compiled to teach Bhakti Yoga. Srimad Bhagavatam is compiled to teach us the pure devotional service. And it talks about different vibhutis of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's like lamp. So in the darkness, when we have the lamp, brings the light. Likewise, the lamp example is given. Lamp can bring the light, but the light of lamp cannot be compared with the light that we get from sun. So Srimad Bhagavatam is compared as a lamp because for each individual being, it acts as a lamp. So lamp might not be sufficient to give sufficient light for a home, for a house, but lamp can give sufficient light for a specific room. For a small room, there will be sufficient light that will come from the lamp. Likewise, each and every being like us can be enlightened by taking the shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. And then it is also sun. So it's lamp and it's sun also, because it can give the light to the whole human civilization. And last one is Mohani Murti, depending on how one is approaching the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Srimad Bhagavatam has 10 subjects, but that 10 subjects basically talks almost about everything. And if somebody is approaching Supreme Personality, Srimad Bhagavatam, for philosophical point of view, he will get that. If somebody is approaching Srimad Bhagavatam for analytical, scientific ways, he will get that. If somebody is approaching Srimad Bhagavatam for karma, he will get that. If somebody is approaching for mystic yoga, he will have some material there. So all of that is there. It's how we approach. That's how Srimad Bhagavatam will reveal to us. But finally, in Gita also, there are many subjects spoken, but ultimate truth that Krishna is establishing in chapter 18 is that pure devotional service is the essence. Man manabha mad bhakto madhyani namaskuru. Forget about everything. Just fully concentrate and be my devotee. Likewise, Srimad Bhagavatam talks various subjects, but ultimately the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam is that it is especially compiled to give us the pure bhakti of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that was the basically topic presentation that I wanted to go through to give you some idea and develop our faith towards Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's all I had for today. If you have any feedback, any questions, any comments, please feel free to share that. Thank you. Hare Krishna. I'm almost on time. Hare Krishna. Anybody has anything that they would like to share?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hari Hari.
Thank you for the wonderful presentation, Prabhu. I've never seen this kind of classification of Srimad Bhagavatam, like by canto, what is being spoken of, and you had nice table about the qualification of speaker and hearer, and all of those are very beautiful, very nice.
It helped me also, Prabhu. It's helping me also because as you know, I try to prepare and collect these materials. Of course, kind of learning for all of us simultaneously. So it's my endeavor also. So that, and the beauty with this information is that that's why I like writing things, because once you write it, then it's very easy for me to go back and reread, because there are tons and tons of information. So going back and reading it, and if I have information somewhere, oh, this thing I want a little bit refresh my mind. Okay, it's there, so I can go and look at it. So one of the qualification that mentioned here is that systematic. And also in the very beginning, I had that slide that says that only one qualification we need for studying Srimad Bhagavatam, and that is basically we should read it systematic. So whichever way we can, make it more organized, we should try to study in a systematic way. And that way, what happens is that, the confusion, so many confusion comes. Oh, this one was like that. This one was like that. So if you get into this and try to basically come to some conclusion, and if you are studying more, so many points from so many directions comes. So if you have something more systematic way, then you can put the dots together, and then you can understand, oh, this part I understand, but this part I need some more emphasis. You go look at. So that's how, we become, good in studying Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah. You were saying something else? Hope I didn't interrupt.
No.
Okay, anything anybody has?
Prabhu, I had a quick question.
Hari bol.
Prabhu, yeah, this is a very simple question, Prabhu. In this last slide, you have this picture of Srimad Bhagavatam set. This looks like different from the set that we get nowadays, the 18-volume set. So I was just wondering, is this some older edition or is something different?
This is the older one. Yeah, you can see, like you can see the basically the cover of the Bhagavatam is paper, right? I think it's paper, but we do not get that. Yeah. So, but you can ask something tough also. Don't worry, Prabhu. At least I will have some idea what, so you have something else that you wanted to ask? Yes, this is definitely older version.
Okay, so yeah, so the other question I had was on this, the qualification of the hearers. One thing you mentioned about is this, the encouragement to the speaker and praising the speaker. So is this like this should be vocal, or this could be just, you know, like like, do you have to praise the speaker in front of the speaker always? I'm asking this question because in one instance I remember Harompa Swami Maharaj was giving the class. At the end, you know, all the devotees, whenever they're asking questions, they're saying that Maharaj, thanks for the nice class, thanks for the nice class. Everybody was telling, so Maharaj got really irritated, and then he said that, can you please stop that first, skip the first part and just ask the question directly. So my question is pertinent to that point. Like, so do we have to always praise the speaker in front, or just in heart we can praise?
No, you are right. No, we don't have to all the time, appreciate, thank you, Prabhu. No. So here is another very simple example. Like if somebody is giving Srimad Bhagavatam, like I have been doing this service, and you all come and join. That encourages me. If I have only 2 person and I have nobody, I just come here and me and Roy Prabhu talking it. Is it going to be encouraging for me? So although you are not saying something every class that Prabhu, you gave very good lecture, I liked it, this and that, whatever it could be, but you are encouraging me because I know that, Bhupal Prabhu is going to come. I know who will be on that, a lecture. So all of you, are encouraging me. You are giving me some encouragement. Yes, Prabhu, do it. We'll be with you. We'll support you. We are here to hear from you. So that's encouragement. If I have lecture and nobody comes, and all of you here today and tomorrow you don't come. So what does it mean? That means you feel that what I'm talking is not worth, or you don't think that your 1 hour should be with Ramacharya Das because what he talks doesn't make sense to me. So you are right, Prabhu. It doesn't have to be by word. Sometimes if you have the right situation where you have the opportunity to express by words, yes, it's okay. It's external thing. But internally also you can encourage somebody by giving, your association, by coming on time, by asking right questions, by asking the questions which are relevant to the discussions, which are inspiring and which are helpful for the audience and for the speaker. So no, not by word, but by many ways we can encourage the speaker. In fact, by word, I would say that sometimes it feels more external, So, but also you should do by words as well. If it's, but you have to find the time where you can do it. Still, it doesn't feel like that you are unnecessarily trying to glorify somebody. So all of that has to be in a balanced way. But there are many ways you can encourage the speaker. Prabhu.
Prabhu, I have 2 questions.
Hari.
Now I'm confused about Sukadeva Goswami and also Sutta Goswami. Okay, can you just briefly explain? That is the first question, and the second question is, I think all your going through all of your slides, one thing came to my mind that now, just like in the current our human world, right, we do have good days, bad days, difficult days, etc. So most of the times, lack of good support, or say how to come out of difficulties, that kind of situations. Now, is there a situation where in Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, Krishna helped to come out of the great difficulties faced by the say difficult situation people face like that? So
yes,
which topic or which is there any some topic there?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, I got it. So let me answer your first question. So first one you were asking, out of Sukadeva Goswami and Sutta Goswami, who is older, who is senior, right? Who is the first one? That's right. Okay. So
and the context.
Yes. So so actually, Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken by Sukadeva Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj. So that's topmost. So whenever we are talking, Srimad Bhagavatam, it's basically Sukadeva Goswami talking to Parikshit Maharaj. Now, Sukdev Goswami, when he was talking, okay, just by that service, Sukdev Goswami is considered topmost, saintly person. Because when he was talking Srimad Bhagavatam, at that time, Narad Muni was there, who is basically a spiritual master of Vyasdev. Vyasdev was there, and then Suta Goswami was there, and then other sages were there. So Suta Goswami also heard Srimad Bhagavatam from Sukdev Goswami. So original speaker is Sukdev Goswami, and not only Suta Goswami, but also Vyasdev and Narad. Vyasdev has compiled Srimad Bhagavatam. But when he heard Srimad Bhagavatam from Sukdev Goswami, he also felt a different taste. He released Srimad Bhagavatam differently than what his understanding was. So the original speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam is Sukdev Goswami. Now, what's basically happening between Sukdev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, that narration has been spoken in other setup. So for example, Prabhupada talked to, Brahmanand, Prabhu, or Prabhupada talked to, one of his disciples. Okay. So now here, Ramacharya is talking to Bhopal Prabhu, and Ramacharya is saying that Ramacharya Prabhu, we should basically follow the footstep of Prahlad Maharaj. So Ramacharya is basically rephrasing the statement that Prabhupada said to one of his disciples. Prabhupada also said, or I'll say Bhopal Prabhu. Prabhupada said to Brahmanand Prabhu that we should follow the footstep of Krishna or Prahlad Maharaj. So the original speaker was Prabhupada. He spoke to Brahmanand Prabhu, and in my discussion with Bhopal Prabhu, now I am talking to Bhopal Prabhu. So I am talking to Bhopal Prabhu because, I heard Prabhupada said the same thing to Brahmanand Prabhu. So likewise, so Suta Goswami was present himself in that setup where Sukdev Goswami is talking to Parikshit Maharaj, and then he is rephrasing it. Okay, so Sukdev Goswami is the original speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam. You will hear Maitreya Muni talking to Vidura. Yes, but the original speaker is basically Sukdev Goswami. Okay, that's question number one. Question number two, you ask that we are going through various difficulties in life, or we have so many disturbances in our day-to-day life. How Krishna has helped somebody in past who have gone through similar difficulties. Do we have any example for that? And in fact, Srimad Bhagavatam, the whole Srimad Bhagavatam is example for just that particular instance. Because if you take the example of Parikshit Maharaj is going through much worse situation that you and I are going through in our day-to-day life. Parikshit Maharaj was an emperor. He has whole world to take care. He was not at a fault. Still he was cursed, and he has to deal with that curse. And what happened? Krishna sent Sukdev Goswami to come and relieve his suffering, give him the guidance at the last 7 days of his life. So here is one example. Another example, Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj was pure devotee of Krishna, and his father Hiranyakashipu was torturing him like anything. He was making elephant run over him. He was putting him into fire, throwing him from the top of the mountain, putting him in a cage of lions, and in a room that is filled with snake. Are somebody doing like that with us? We have some suffering, but we do not have suffering like that. What happened to Prahlad Maharaj? Nothing could happen. Rakhe Krishna mare ke, mare Krishna rakhe ke. Krishna protected Prahlad Maharaj. Nothing happened to Prahlad Maharaj he was saved, no harm at all. Another example you can take Dhruv Maharaj. Dhruv Maharaj was an innocent boy. What he knew about pure devotional service, he has no idea, no qualification, but he strongly took the order of his mother, that yes, only Vishnu can save you. You go and find Vishnu. And with that, he left everything and started looking for Vishnu. How we can find Vishnu? No idea. He doesn't even know where Vishnu is, who Vishnu is, but who came? Krishna sent Narad Muni, go. There is one person there, who need my help. So Narad Muni came and helped Dhruv Maharaj. So there are tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of a story given throughout the Shastra to help conditioned soul to come to Krishna consciousness. We read these stories and it's very hard for us to correlate. We cannot think ourselves as Prahlad Maharaj. We think that there was somebody once upon a time, there was one Prahlad Maharaj who did like that. There was somebody, Dhruv Maharaj like that. And for Dhruv Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj, Krishna can do some arrangement. Did he do anything for me, for you, and for I? Answer is yes. Yes. And here is some of the example. Mahaprabhu came and he without any restrictions and reservations, he gave his mercy to everybody. Who was Mahaprabhu? He's Krishna himself. Prabhupada was, empowered personality sent by, Krishna and Mahaprabhu to go and spread the movement of Krishna consciousness. And what he did, he came to the, and he went to the each and every places and gave Krishna consciousness to poor and completely, people who have all the bad habits and all the, bad thing in their life. Krishna consciousness, the highest, most consciousness, reach to them. You and I came here, you came here pursuing our material desire, to be somebody in the material world. And how right now here we are talking Krishna Katha. The first, 1 hour of Saturday, today in St. Louis, we have Krishna Katha. This is not different than mercy of Krishna. How much, fulfillment you are feeling about having this association. And these questions that's coming to you, this question is also symptom that you are receiving the mercy of Supreme Personality of Godhead. All of us are super fortunate that we have gotten this opportunity to hear Katha. What happens is that if you take a white cloth, okay, and if you have a spot on the white cloth, the spot will be very, very visible. But you have to also know that on a white cloth, you can very easily see the black spot. Why? Because our seeing is relative. We are able to see black spot because there is white spot around. The layer is white, but there is a black spot. Likewise, you are able to ask this question, how I'm receiving the mercy of Krishna? Because around you, there have been already some cleaning process going on. There is some white spot around you. There is some cleaning surface around you. And that cleaning surface, Chatudarpana Marjanam, is making us think, oh, I have a black spot. Oh, I have an attachment for the material world. Oh, I am so fallen. I do not have the opportunity. Why? Because your heart has already started cleaning. And that cleanliness that has happened in your heart is now making you see the dirt that we have in your heart. So that's the point. You have already received, Krishna is already helping you. You are already one of the subject which is directly being helped by Krishna. And then just to provide you that help, everything else has been manifested in your life. You taking birth where you took birth, you going to the school where you went to school, you coming here, whatever desire it is. But ultimately, everything behind was just done so that at some point, he will come to that stage where without any other disturbance, he will take Krishna consciousness. So if you look back, the whole background was given to you was mercy of Krishna so that you can take the Krishna consciousness. So does Krishna help me personally? Yes, he helped me personally, because I would be in the material world and enjoying and doing the sense gratification, eating all the nonsense, having a smoking and drinking. But I am now here trying to refine myself. So this is the help. This is very clear example of the help. Somebody who was completely lost in the material world is now trying to be a devotee of Krishna. Like you are trying to be a devotee of Krishna. Yes, the problems we have, the suffering we are seeing. And there are people in the material world who are not seeing the suffering. They are not seeing the way you are seeing. They think that this is the place where we can enjoy. This is the place where we can have all the fun. What's happening with them? Their background is dark. They are so dark that they cannot see where is this darkness. For them, the darkness is unlimited. Unlimited. They are completely caught into the bhavasagar. Everywhere they see darkness, they will see darkness. But you asking these questions means you have some cleaning already started. And that is why you are able to raise this question. That is why you are listening. Because already Krishna has started showering mercy on you, Prabhu. So I spoke so many things. And if you really kind of understood me what I was saying, this is basically the answer. So yes.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Krishna,
Thank you very much. I got it.
Thank you. Krishna is helping us. You and you and I know myself, we all have, we are directly being helped by Krishna. Otherwise, I know I would be in Thai and here Toli, Kurta, Tilak, Chandan, and the way, yes, we have problem. Don't worry for the problem. You are seeing this problem in yourself because you have cleaned your thing. They say that you live in a house that fill, layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of dirt. You live in that house, you do not have any idea how much dirt I have in this house. When you start cleaning, everything, dust start coming, everywhere dust is coming. And then you think, oh, I was living in this house, everywhere there is a dust. So yes, now we are asking these questions because we have started cleaning ourselves. Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. That the seed of the pure devotion somehow or other has come to us. It might be slow. It might be very slowly germinating and turning into seedling and then finally into the plant. The process might be slow, but we all are candidates who have received the direct mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the disciplic succession.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hari Hari. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Yes. Thank you so much all for your association. And it's 8:23. If there is nothing, then I would like to adjourn here. Is there anything else? Okay.
Prabhu, wonderful analogy about how we are able to see the problems. When we are in the darkness, we can't see, and when when there is some cleansing, then we are able to see the darkness. Very nice, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you. Vanshkalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya evasya patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Assemble Bhakta Vrind ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai, Jai Jai Shri Radha Shyamsundar Bhagwan ki jai, Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani ki jai, ISKCON founder Acharya His Divine Grace Shri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Dandavat everybody. I'll see you in the evening. Thank you. Hari Hari.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Prabhu Dandavat.
Dandavat Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.